Hello everyone, I'm JG and welcome back to MusicForever, where today we're reviewing the Metallica EP Beyond Magnetic. Before starting this review of this EP, I just want to remind anyone who may be new to the channel that I'm reviewing all of Metallica's albums here on my channel. So if you're a fan of Metallica, there's going to be a playlist link down in the description below, as well as it should be on screen here at the end of the video. You can click that and it'll take you to the playlist, where you can watch all my previous Metallica reviews I've done so far, and all the ones I'm going to be doing after this one. But after this one, all I'm going to really have left is Hardwired to Self-Destruct. So that should be coming out soon if you're interested, but if not, in the meantime, you can watch all my other Metallica reviews if you haven't done so already. Alright, now that we got that out of the way, let's talk about this EP here today, Beyond Magnetic, because I feel like it is somewhat important to talk about this EP just because it is unreleased material. It'd be nice if I could speak today, from Metallica that we hadn't seen before. Now, pretty much the backstory behind the 4 tracks that are on this EP here is that Metallica, they were recording their previous album, Death Magnetic, that came out in 2008, and in the process of recording that, they had 14 tracks at the end, but they decided to cut out 4 tracks for the final album, so that it would be 10 tracks only, and then they had these 4 tracks left over that would then later on be released as Beyond Magnetic. And pretty much that's the story behind this project. So what you would expect, I guess, from this is, Death Magnetic extras, pretty much, and that's pretty much what you're getting here. Many of the things I had to say about that album are pretty much the same for these tracks here, so I highly recommend you check out my review for that album at least, unless you don't want to check out the other ones pretty much. Definitely check out the Death Magnetic one at least, because you're going to understand my opinions on these 4 tracks a lot better. Pretty much, I think we have an interesting selection of 4 songs here. And the thing is, I don't think these tracks are any less good than any of the songs on Death Magnetic, really. I don't think there are quite as many standouts as there were on Death Magnetic, but the worst on Death Magnetic isn't much different than, the worst that you get here on this EP. So I guess when narrowing down the 14 tracks that they initially had, Metallica, I guess they were going with whatever fit conceptually with the record and just, whatever they wanted to do pretty much. Because there are still some really good tracks here. Take the opening song, Hate Train, for example, which I just really like how they're able to transition between some more thrashier, heavier parts and some more melodic parts here on this track. It's definitely a standout for that reason. But that's not to say the other tracks aren't good either. They definitely do have their own moments, and they do kind of keep up with the sort of continuation of Injustice for All sound, kind of like I said in my Death Magnetic review, how that album seemed like a kind of a continuation of Injustice for All had they not gone in, the Black Album direction and then Load and Reload and all that. It does have that thrash metal sound with longer songs that, have some progressive metal tendencies to them, but never quite get to the point of being progressive thrash metal. That's kind of what I would describe the majority of the tracks here. And once again, I have to bring up the issue of, Metallica albums being really long in the modern, I guess you could say, Metallica era. As I said in my review for Death Magnetic, that album was an hour and 15 minutes long about, and it was a bit too long even for just 10 tracks, pretty much. And, the same is somewhat present here. This EP is like 29 minutes long. It's pretty much a half an hour, and you only have 4 tracks here. So most EPs, you wouldn't exactly expect 30 minutes of material lots of the time. Last time you would expect something shorter than that. That's not to say 30-minute EPs don't exist out there. I'm just saying that, they're not quite as common as shorter ones. And for it to only be 4 tracks still, just really goes to show you how long some of these tracks could be. Because once again, all these tracks on this album are rather long in their length. Like 7, 8, 9 minutes in length. So if you're not a fan of long songs, this maybe isn't the project for you. But if you're a fan of Metallica and you want something that's kind of short and sweet, and kind of has that thrash metal sound, this is something that you may be interested in, especially if you like Death Magnetic, because this definitely has a similar, it's the same sort of vibe as that album pretty much, because it was recorded at the same time. The production for these 4 tracks kind of had the same sort of compressed feel to them as the ones on Death Magnetic do, at least kind of when I was listening to it, it kind of sounded that way. Maybe I'm wrong, or maybe that's just because these tracks I don't believe were completely I guess you could say mastered for the album, like the 10 tracks that they had decided to put on the album were. So, the production quality isn't that great for these 4 tracks, but they do definitely sound, I guess you would say, somewhat modern, and, they're decent, I guess you would say. If you could do Death Magnetic, you could do these 4 tracks pretty much. And if you didn't like Death Magnetic, there's really no reason why you think you would go after these 4 tracks at all. Pretty much, I just have to say that this EP is pretty decent. You should definitely check it out if you're a fan of Metallica, especially if you like Death Magnetic, because that album is pretty much, the same thing as this EP in terms of what you're getting in terms of the sound. So yeah, it's sort of like thrashy Metallica, but kind of leftover thrashy Metallica, which is still better than Saint Anger Metallica, pretty much. So yeah, I definitely recommend this to you if you're a fan of Metallica. Mostly the hardcore fans, not really the newer fans or people like that. But yeah, that's really all I have to say on this project. So if you enjoyed the video, I'd greatly appreciate if you'd leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on those future Metallica reviews. Check out those other ones I already did. As I said before, the playlist is linked in the description and it'll be here up on screen once the video finishes. Follow me on all the social medias that are linked in the description below. Comment your thoughts, and thanks for watching, guys. Stay golden.